Getting distracted. Hi guys, welcome everybody to this fabulous Q&A. Well, I hope it's going to be fabulous, but preempting it's going to be fabulous. Welcome if you're listening to the replay. Welcome if you're here live. Great to see you all. We're going to jump straight into the first question, who is from the lovely Sharon Christmas, or which is from the lovely Sharon Christmas. So what does Sharon ask us? Let me see. I started a new job last December. Since then, I have gained a lot of weight due to stress eating and not finding the time to do strength training or cardio. Work has calmed down a bit and I'm just trying to get into the routine again. I have started training again and I'm doing cardio, about half an hour in the Peloton. Do you think that is enough or should I up the cardio? My goal is fat loss. Great question, Sharon. So if your goal is fat loss, I'm going to keep repeating myself. Here's what you need to do. You need to set a goal. Number one, everyone's nodding. Laurie's nodding. She knows what I'm going to say. You could all write the book by now. Sharon, you could write the book as well by now because you know what I'm going to say. You need to set a goal. How much fat do you want to lose specifically? Do you want to lose 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 15 pounds? You have to be specific. Now, fat loss does need to be, kind of a moving target, because if you start to build muscle again, yes, you will burn body fat, but you will also put on muscle. So you can't get fixated on the number of the scale. You might say that you want to lose 15 pounds, and then on your way to losing 15 pounds, you gain, maybe over the next 6 months, you gain 5 pounds of muscle. So you have actually lost 15 pounds, but you gain 5 pounds of muscle. So you've only got a 10-pound deficit, but yet you look in the mirror one day and you go, holy crap, I look amazing. And so you're happy that you only lost 10 pounds because actually you look amazing. Normally, we don't want to weigh a certain amount on the scale. We want to look a certain way. So I always encourage everybody to take photos as their progress, because then you can say, do I look the way I want to look? Do my thighs and butt look the way I want them to look? Does my stomach look the way I want it to look? It's all about looking the way you want to look. The number on the scale is literally worthless. So that's the first thing I would say. So you have to set a goal. How much do you want to lose? And then you have to set a goal for when do you want to lose it by? So let's say we are now in October. So how many weeks are there till Christmas? I'm going to hypothesize and say 5, 10, let's say up until like the middle of December, right? You've maybe got 12 weeks to maybe the middle of December. I'm taking a total guess, but I think it probably is about that. So let's say 12 weeks to the middle of December, which is really quite horrifying if you think about it. You could say, well, I want to lose 12 pounds by Christmas. Now, 12 pounds by Christmas is definitely doable. Absolutely 100% doable. That's a pound a week. You can set a goal to lose a pound a week. 100% doable. Then you say, okay, what does it take for me to lose a pound a week? And if you don't know, it might just be a hypothesis. So we know that you need to eat below your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure. So next you'll go to the Sculpted Vegan website. You'll go to the sculptedvegan.com/macro-calculator. Okay? sculptedvegan.com/macro, as in MACRO, hyphen, which is a little dash in the middle, calculator. You'll go there, you'll download the sheet, which will teach you how to calculate your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure, and then you will eat below your TDEE. So let's say you work out that your total daily energy expenditure is 2,000 calories. Well, maybe you're going to start your 12-week diet on 1,900 calories. So for 1 week, you're going to eat 1,900 calories. The next week, you're going to eat 1,800 calories or 1,850. You're not going to start like 1,500 calories, okay? You're going to start and work your way down. Or you can start at 1,800 calories, say, and stay there for 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, you go to 1,700 calories. And then 2 weeks later, you go to 1,600 calories. You're now 6 weeks in, 2, 2, 2. And then 2 weeks later, you go to 1,500 calories. You're now 8 weeks in. 2 weeks later, you go to 1,400 calories. 10 weeks in. For the last 2 weeks, you go to 1,200 calories. And if you do that for 12 weeks, you will lose 12 pounds. Guarantee it. If you strength train and also do your cardio. Now, what would be better if you do your cardio? Well, you're saying you're doing the Peloton every day for 30 minutes. Well, in order to do your cardio, what you would need to do is track your fat burning zone. What is your fat burning zone? 220 minus your age multiplied by 0.7. I always say it's about 70% of your maximum heart rate. So 220 minus your age multiplied by 0.7. That'll give you your fat burning zone. So when you're on your Peloton for half an hour, you're going to be checking your fat burning zone on your fitness tracker. You're going to make sure you're in that fat burning zone the whole time. You might go a little higher, a little lower. That's fine. As long as you're in the range of it, and if you drop below it, then you increase your speed, you go up a bit. And I know Peloton is when you're like following a workout, but that's how you work out what your fat burning zone is. So you stick at your 30 minutes of cardio. You do your strength training. Hopefully you're doing some kind of strength training with me. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can do all my dumbbell workouts are there. You can just repeat the carve one, which everybody loves. The first 5 days, just repeat it on repeat. You're doing your strength training. You're doing your cardio. You're tracking your calories. That's how you lose body fat. If you try to do it any other way, you're going to make yourself miserable. Because if you're just kind of throwing shit against the wall and hoping that some of it sticks, you're going to feel like you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not getting any results. And then all the unknowns are going to start creeping in. You'll be like, oh, well, I think my calories have been kind of low today, so I probably could have that extra treat. And then you have the extra treat and you feel guilty because you're not quite sure if it was in your calories or outside your calories. You think it was in your calories, but maybe it was outside your calories, and now you're not sure. Now you kind of send yourself into it. You end up using so much brain power. People they say that they don't like structure, or that they find shreds really hard. Shreds are hard physically on your body, but they're actually a lot easier mentally. This is what people in butt camp are finding at the minute. It is hard to show up and meal prep all your food on a Sunday. It's hard to put it all into containers. It's hard to make yourself show up for the training every day. But this is literally plug and play. I've given you the best meal plans that we've ever done in our lives, in my life. You know, in EMBM, you have incredible meal plans in there. Download the meal plans. Make yourself meal prep on a Sunday. You know, take all of the mental energy out of it. You said your job is stressful enough. Well, just follow the plan. You have a shred plan in EMBM, which is exactly what I have just described to you. But whenever you have a plan, whenever you show up and follow a plan, whenever you show up and just, you know, plug and play the workouts, plug and play the cardio, track the heart rate, do the meal plans, and just, you know, show up and eat the same food every day, it takes all of that mental energy out of it. So yes, it's hard to be hungry, and yes, it's hard to show up and meal prep whenever you're hungry or whenever you're tired. And yes, it's hard to show up and do your cardio. And yes, it's hard to, you know, show up and do your strength training. But the beautiful thing about having a goal, which is, you know, say 2 weeks before Christmas, 2 weeks before the holidays, if you have that goal will keep you moving forward because you know there's an end point. Dieting without an end point is really, really, really hard. That's, you know, you've seen these women. You've probably been one of these women. I know I've never been this woman ever, but I've heard of them in the past who are just perpetually on a diet. And they're constantly saying, oh, I can't have that, and I can't have that. And they're trying to choose Diet Coke, and they're going, oh, I'll have low fat this and low fat that. And they're constantly on a diet. They're on a diet, off a diet, on a diet, off a diet. In fact, you know, like I say, I've no experience of this personally, but I've heard of other women with experience of it. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting because you're constantly controlling all the time. But whenever you get yourself on a plan and you set an end goal and you follow a plan, a proven plan that works towards that end goal, it takes all of the mental energy out of it. And all then you have to focus on is the hard of showing up and doing the work, which is hard, but it's only hard for the moment between being comfortable now and starting the workout. Once you're on that Peloton and you're cycling away, within a couple of minutes, you're like, okay, it's really not so bad. And then 5 minutes in, you're like, I'm so glad I got out of bed at 5 a.m. to do this. Like, you feel powerful and purposeful and like the kind of woman who can show up and do hard things. And that's amazing. The only hard part is that little tiny window between waking up in your nice warm bed and getting on the bloody Peloton. That's the hard part. Everything else is actually easy. Lying in bed is easy. Being on the Peloton is easy. The only hard part is this tiny little window between transitioning from here to there. So whenever you can overcome that window all the time and just kind of start, and I count myself down all the time. I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I just go. And I say to my husband, I have to get out of bed. I have to stop scrolling. I need to move. And he goes 5, 4, and I'm like, fuck, no, because I know as soon as he starts counting, like my body's wired. As soon as he gets to 1, I have to get out. So he is like, he knows that like I have that programmed into me. He uses it on me all the time. If I ever go, oh, Ryan, I really have to move, he goes 5. I'm like, no, don't you dare. He goes 4, 3, and I'm like, and I get that at 2. Well, I just have to move. So whenever you program yourself that when you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move, you will move. It's such a great stimulus response pattern to program into yourself. So that's something I would recommend that everybody does actually here listening to this now. Program yourself with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can actually program yourself with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before you're even in a hard position to do it. So let's say I finish this recording and I am now going to go from here and I'm going to head home, right? before I get up from my desk, I can literally sit for a minute, regroup, and then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I can get up. And I was going to get up anyway. But whenever you program yourself with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and after the 1 comes movement, program yourself in the easy times when you were going to move anyway. And then you can use it in the hard times whenever you're unmotivated. It's absolutely astonishing how well it works. Try it and see. So just to go back to the question, Sharon, what you really have to do is you need to set a goal. So I'm just going to run through the steps again for you, just to help you, and everybody else can listen as well. You set a goal, first of all. How much do you want to lose? And then you set a timeline. When do you want to lose it by? Then you go and work out your TDEE. You will eat maybe 200 calories below your TDEE. I'm going to guess it's maybe 2,000. Most women's is around 2,000, unless you're absolutely tiny. And then you start on that. You eat that, say, for 2 weeks. Then you drop your calories by 100 for another 2 weeks. Drop them by 100, another 2 weeks. Drop them by 100, another 2 weeks. And you do that every 2 weeks for, 6 times right up until Christmas. Until the last 2 weeks, you're on 1,200 calories, loads of free veggies. You continue doing your 30 minutes a day. If you find from taking progress pictures every week that your fat loss is stalling or it's not as fast as you would like, then you can add 5 minutes onto your cardio. So you could add 5 minutes onto your Peloton in week 2, 5 minutes in week 3, 5 minutes in week 4, 5 minutes in week 5, 5 minutes in week 6. So you can gradually build up your cardio. Resist the temptation to go 2 hours cardio and 1,200 calories right out of the gate. Because if you do that, you will slam on the brakes after 2 weeks. You will fall flat in your face and you will not succeed. You must taper the calories down, increase the cardio up gently, and have a very specific goal to finish on. Then 12 weeks in, you can say, great, how did I do? Did I lose? Oh, fuck's sake. Did I lose the body fat? Did I not lose the body fat? Did I lose as much as I wanted? How well did this plan work for me? Then you can have a really nice time over the holidays, and then you can start again in January, maybe on another 12-week plan. That's how you get results. You plan. Set a goal. Measure. How long do you measure for? Until you don't need to measure anymore. I don't need to measure anymore. I'm not measuring my food intake at the minute because I kind of know roughly how much I'm eating every day. Plus I'm recording all these workouts every day. So exercising is my job, right? See, if you want to be really skinny, make exercising your job. Okay. Bona fide guaranteed way to make sure you have no time to eat and you never miss a training session. But if you don't have the luxury of fitness being your job, then you just need to set yourself daily tasks, daily goals, daily cardio. Make sure you show up to your training. Do it for a long period of time. And that is how you will lose the fat. It's actually very, very, very simple. It's not complicated. It unfortunately just takes a little bit of work. Really great question. Love it. Okay, what else have we got going on here? Oh, there's really not very many questions in here. There's only a couple. Laurie has 2 of them. Oh, you're always guaranteed, Laurie, to have a question for you. I love you, Laurie. Right. Okay. What have we got? What are you asking me here, Laurie? Let's dive in. When doing weight training and cardio, once your body uses stored glycogen. Oh, actually, I know. Hang on. I did this last week. Okay. So there's not 2 from Laurie. I apologize. Oh, there is. I was in the wrong one. Okay. Let's try again. Take 2. Yesterday, you touched on seeing all that is wrong. Having been on this weight loss train for many years and many times, I find it comforting to hear others say, you look amazing. What are you doing? I'm dying to tell them. I tell them. Why is it that the answer is then followed by a but? But my arms still have this. But my abs aren't showing. But my legs have cellulite. Why do you think it's so hard for women to focus on what has changed versus what hasn't changed? If you tell a guy he looks great, he's flexing every muscle. So I have a very simple explanation to this, Laurie. And it's really just that women, I think, don't want, and could be just a projection of mine, but also it is something that I've seen in women. Women don't want anyone else to think that they don't see their own flaws. We don't want others to point out the flaws. So it's almost like an ego thing. Men have a big ego, right? Men, they don't all have big egos, but men like to be admired, and they almost believe the bullshit that people tell them. So if you go, oh, wow, look at you, hot and sexy thing. You have like a gorgeous, great big chest. They will be like, oh, yeah, I do. And they'll take the compliment, right? They won't think, well, I'll go on. Sometimes they'll go, oh, I need to lose a bit of this belly. But like, they'll be so pleased that you commented on this beautiful big chest. Well, women will take the compliment. If you say to a woman, oh, wow, you have gorgeous arms or gorgeous shoulders, they'll say, oh, thank you so much. Oh, but the belly needs a bit of work. But that's only because I don't want you to think that I don't notice that my belly needs a bit of work. I don't want you to think that I'm blind to my faults. Women are such perfectionists, usually. We don't want people to think that we don't see what's wrong with us. So, and also most people just find it hard to take a compliment. Like, we're not trained to take compliments. I have a friend who, and I learned from him, and I'm still not so good at it, but a couple of things I learned from him was whenever someone pays him a compliment, he just says, thank you. So he'll say, you are, if someone says to him, oh my goodness, you are so incredible, the way you solved that problem so fast, he'll say, oh, thank you so much. And I remember watching him being like, that's it? Like, just thank you? And I realized how when someone pays you a compliment, you should just take it. It's like when someone gives you a gift. I used to be, now I still do it with people depending on who it is, but whenever we go out for dinner, like, the way people fight over the bill, and someone will be like, the bill will come and somebody will be like, oh, no, that's my bill. But no, it's my turn. No, absolutely not. It's my turn. No, it's mine. And you've actually seen people like wrestling over the bill. I used to be one of those people because I used to believe that I needed to pay the bill all the time because I really felt like I always took care of everybody else. But now what I've realized is if someone goes, no, I want to pay this, I go, okay, well, I'm going to let you. Thank you. Because they want to be able to give something back. They want to be able to do something nice for me. I find it very hard to take a compliment. I find it very hard to allow someone to do something nice for me. And this is because women are such givers. We give and give and give and give and give, and we find it very hard to take. We find it, well, not all women. Fuck, I know some women who do not find it hard to take at all. But it depends whether you're a giver or a taker. If you're one of life's givers, which I know you are, Laurie, you will give and give and give and give and give, sometimes to our own detriment. Givers are, we sometimes give so much, it's to our detriment. And if a giver ever gets paired with a taker, you're in trouble. But if you're both givers, then it's a really good relationship. But women are such givers, we find it hard to take. So if you're the kind of person who finds it hard to take, you won't take a compliment very well. But if you are one of life's takers, you will take a compliment very well because it's all about the act of giving and taking. It's not really about the compliment. It's not about the compliment or the gift or whatever's being given. It's just about the fact that some people can take and some people can give. And I am definitely a giver. I find it hard to take. So when someone pays me a compliment, I find it hard to take that. However, one thing that has trained me to be able to take a compliment very well is actually being semi-famous now online and having a big Instagram account, because I get stopped a lot in airports here in Belfast a lot. But usually when I'm traveling or when I'm in a restaurant or when I'm out and about, people will come up to me all the time and they will say, sometimes, you can see them just kind of side-eyeing you, but, there's people who are bold and they'll come up and say, oh, you the Sculpted Vegan? And I'll say, yes. And it happens at the horse events all the time. And they say, oh, I follow you online. And I say, oh, thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for following. And then they say, oh my goodness, I just think you're absolutely amazing. Honestly, I just think you're so wonderful. Like the way you do this and you do that. And then they tell me all the things that, they love about me, which is really just a projection of them. If they say, oh, I love the way you deal with the haters, it means that I represent a way that they would like to be. I represent a part of themselves that when they express that part of themselves, they like it. When they express the part of themselves that is strong, that is purposeful, that is powerful, that lets, things slide off them and doesn't get upset about things, they feel good. So when they see me representing that part, it reminds them of the part of themselves that they like. So it's not really about me. It's all about them. So when someone compliments me, I take it as it is, which is you make me feel good about the part of myself that I like about me. That's really what a compliment is. It's just me telling you that you represent something that I like about myself, and it makes me feel good. So whenever people say to me online, which they do a lot, and they say, oh, I just love the way you do this, I just say, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That's all I say. I don't go, oh, well, I this and that, whatever. I don't try and shrug off the compliment. I take it and I say, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. And it's a good practice to get into, but givers find it very hard to take, whether it's taking presents, accepting help, taking compliments, whatever. We just find it hard to take, but it is a good practice to get into. And because women are naturally givers and men are naturally takers, That's why men can take a compliment much quicker. It's not about the compliment. The compliment is just the vehicle for the thing that's being given. Whereas men are much, much better at taking. Like they love to be looked after by women. So they will take and take and take and be so happy about it. Feel like they deserve it. So when you compliment a man, he feels like he's deserved this praise because men are born to be taken care of, you know, like that's why they're here on the earth, to be taken care of. Now, not all men, obviously, I'm generalizing, but whereas women are born to give. And so therefore, whenever we take, we're like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Someone paying me a compliment. This doesn't feel right. I don't know how to take this. So that's really what it is. It's just a bit of psychology for you. So hopefully that's just my take on it. I may be completely wrong, but hopefully that helps. Laurie's also asking, doing any exercise with a bar on my traps is a no-go. I need these screws to keep my head on. So she sends a picture of her screws. What is an alternative to weighted squats that are just as effective to increasing the load to the quads and the glutes? My quads need work and I have one bad leg, as we spoke about in the past. So, Laurie, you really don't need a lot of load to work your quads. You just need to be able to get your leg into a good loading position, which is really knee coming over the toe as much as possible. Now, you may not have the flexibility for the knee to come over the toe just yet. You may not ever have the flexibility, depending on, you know, what different bodies are different, you know, we have different injuries and things. But really what works the quad is when the knee is in the hyper flexed position over the toe. So if you just go up and down in a lunge, say, and I'm talking, sorry, about lunges, not about squats. So if you're in a lunge position and say your front foot is elevated, if you come down and push your knee over your toe. So let's say this is the front of your foot and this is your toe here. My knuckle is your toe. If you push your knee forward over the toe, it puts the quad into a hyperextended position and therefore loads it up more with more work. So if you can do that, the quads are going to get loaded. I don't do any more than 115 kilogram, which is 32.5 pound dumbbell whenever I'm doing any kind of lunge work now. And my quads are massive. My quads have not shrunk in any way. So the muscle that I've maintained in them is astonishing just from working them in that way. Whenever you're doing squats, you don't need to ever put a bar on your back. You can carry dumbbells in your hand and do suitcase squats. But a way that you can really work the quads in squats isn't through the depth, isn't through the range of motion, isn't through the position of the feet. What works the quads in squats more effectively than anything is keeping the time under tension. If you can't put a heavy load on your back, time under tension is the hand grenade in your arsenal, if you like, that is literally going to give you explosive growth. So in Carve, which I know you did, the Carve program, we did a lot of half squats where you didn't stand fully up in the squats until your legs were burning so badly that you literally couldn't stand. And that is the most effective way to build your quads. So you squat down to wherever you can squat down to, and then you come up halfway and then you squat again. You don't even need any load to do those, but some load, like holding onto 2 dumbbells, however heavy you can make those dumbbells in your hand, especially with Cobra grips, so your grip strength doesn't give out. If you can load up your hands in suitcase squats and do half reps, your quads are going to be so overloaded and in so much pain, they're not going to be able to help but grow. Remember, it's not load that causes muscle to grow. It's stimulus. There's 3 main ways you can stimulate the muscle fibers to grow. The first one is and most effective is add more load. But a lot of people can't add more load safely because they don't have a spotter. This is one thing I have seen over 10 years of running this company, which is why I've now switched to doing the dumbbells, is women are not getting the results that they should be getting from doing my gym training programs because they're not going to failure. And I've been talking about this a lot during the workouts. They've never truly gone to failure. And no matter how much I tell them they should be going to failure, I tell them to load up that bar, I tell them to do half reps, extra reps, forced reps, spotted reps. They're not doing any of that. And so without load, the next way you can progressively overload the muscle, or with a little bit of load, is volume. You can add more volume. So we are adding a lot of volume to our quads in the dumbbell training that we're doing now through working with 1-minute sets. So you're literally doing reps for a full minute. You're not focusing on how many reps can I do in this full minute. You're focusing on how much time can I keep these quads under tension during this 1 minute. And a lot of that then comes from doing the half reps. So your quads are under constant tension. They've got a lot of volume on them and as much load as you can possibly, put on them. And then the third way that you progressively overload the muscle is with less rest. So you cut down the rest periods so that the muscle fibers haven't fully recovered before you go again. And that's another progressive overload technique that we're using in the dumbbell workouts. We're not using load as the primary one, but we are heavily smashing on volume, which is time under tension, and also less rest, because 30 seconds later or 1 minute later, you have to go again. Your legs are barely recovered and you're back at it and you're going again, putting them under time under tension for another full minute. And your quads should be pulsing, trembling, vibrating, burning with the effort. And that is just as effective at building muscle tissue. It does take a little longer, not longer in time to grow, but longer to get through the sets. But actually, it doesn't really. It's actually quite fast. I used to say, well, who the hell has the time to be in there doing, time under tension constantly, adding more and more and more and more time to their workouts. But then what I realized is I actually used to spend longer in the gym than I do now training. My training workouts are 35 minutes. 35 minutes, 5 days a week. That's what I train. I used to be in the gym 60 minutes, 5 days a week. And half of the time was standing chatting to Mark Getty in between sets. See if you get Mark off on a subject that he's passionate about. God, dear God almighty, you can't get him shut up. And so sometimes we're standing there for 5, 6, 7 minutes between sets while Mark's going on about some competition or contest that he lost years ago where he was robbed and he should have won. And you never ask him a question about competing on stage mid-set. But anyway, so, so you don't need heavy load, especially not on your back, to build muscle tissue. You just need to progressively overload the muscle. If the heavy load is not available, which it isn't for a lot of women, not because they can't go to a gym or because they're injured, but because they're not willing. Not even not willing. That makes it sound like they're chickening out. It's not. It's just that they don't even realize the amount of load that it takes to do smaller amounts of reps to get the same results. So women are going into the gym and they're going, okay, heavy load. And they're maybe putting a 30 kilogram barbell on their back, which is 66 pounds, or 40 kilograms, 88 pounds. And they're going, oh, this 40 kilograms is really, really heavy. And the program says do it for 8 to 12 reps, right? So they manage to get 10 and they feel really good about themselves because they got 10 reps of 40 kilos. But what they don't realize is had they had a spotter or had they had a trainer with them who was experienced, they were probably capable of lifting 60 kilos, but they didn't feel confident to lift the 60 kilos because, they think they're going to get swished under a barbell. So they're lifting 40 kilos for 10 reps and thinking they're lifting heavy because it's hard, when actually their body is capable of lifting 60 kilos. So because they're lifting 20 kilograms lighter than their body is capable of, even 10 kilograms lighter or 20 pounds lighter than their body is capable of, they're not getting the results that they think they should be getting because they're not using time under tension, they're not using volume, they're not using less rest, and they're not using load. They think they're using load because it feels hard. But actually, because they've never had a spotter who's experienced in the gym, who pushes them to go heavier, they're actually leaving gains on the table because they're not lifting to their true potential. But they're following the gym program that says do 4 sets or 3 sets with 10 to 12 reps. They're following that gym program. They think they're lifting heavy, but they're not. I'm going to clean my camera. So they're not actually utilizing any of the principles of progressive overload. And that's what I realized after 9 years of running this company. I realized that I'm banging my head off a brick wall, not because women are unwilling to lift heavy, but because they genuinely don't know what it takes. They think they are lifting heavy because it's hard, but they don't realize that if you're going to use load as your primary form of progressive overload and not do half reps, forced reps, spotted reps, and you're not doing time under tension, and you're not doing volume, and you're not doing less rest, you're not using any of the other types of progressive overload, you're actually making zero progress. And that's why people are going to the gym year upon year upon year and not looking any different, because they're not using any of the principles of progressive overload. Women using the dumbbell workouts that I am teaching are getting far faster, far better progress than 8 years of me creating gym programs, because they're finally, truly, for the first time, going to failure. They're going to failure with lighter weights, but they're going to failure. They're progressively overloading their muscles in every single session and getting far better results than they ever did in a gym. This is true, I would say, for 98% of the women who purchase my programs. As big as 98%. There's the 2% that actually are going to the gym, that do have a trainer, that, you know, are just badass bitches who are, you know, just determined, the real type A personalities who are determined to lift heavier and they are beasting it in the gym. And then there's the 98% who think they're beasting it, but actually really aren't lifting to their true potential. Some of them are 10 to 20% off their true potential. Some of them are 50 to 80% off their true potential. So don't think you need heavy load. To go back to the original question, you really don't need heavy load. You just need to progressively overload your muscles, and that's what causes growth. So what would be better for you would be holding weights in your hands and working on a lot of time under tension. When you're doing a lunge, don't come all the way up to your leg is straight. When you're doing a squat, don't come all the way up. I mean, come halfway up. In every single squat, load up those quads with tension, and I guarantee you they will grow. So hopefully that helps. And I'll come to the questions in a minute. If you guys have any questions that you want to type into the chat, go on ahead and do it now. And I will do my best to, well, I will be able to get to them because I actually only have one more question here from the lovely Carrie. Carrie Hill. Kim, I'm so thankful I found you. I love how you break it down into easy steps, no nonsense. You're the only one who has cracked the code for weight loss for women. After EBM and then EMBM and the other competitions, I've been able to maintain my body. I only gained back 3 pounds, but I'm shredding it off now with butt camp. I'm inspired every day to keep pushing myself, and I have found if I just do it and I don't overthink it, the results happen. Yay, Carrie, my work here is done. Also, thank you for being honest and saying there's no quick result and that it gets boring and tedious. Oh, I actually don't think that this is a question. This is just a little post of tribute. Thank you for being honest and saying there's no quick result and that it gets boring and tedious, but that it will happen. When I started all this, I'd say I didn't see results really until 8 weeks or so. Keep crushing it, Kim. I'm sweating right along with you. Carrie, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your the time that it took you to write that. And I love whenever you guys express your, you know, how you feel about the programs and how you feel about the results that you've gotten. It honestly is the thing that motivates me to keep going. I just, you know, love, like I feed off you guys. Like I get my energy from you. A lot of people say, okay, how do you have so much energy and how do you keep going all the time? It really genuinely is just, I feed off you. Whatever you know, I see that you need, whatever I see that you want, whatever I see that you know, are asking for, what you're struggling with. That's what feeds my content. It's what feeds the workouts. It's what shapes everything. So I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. You're looking lovely in red today, by the way. Just I'll tell you that. Okay, let's see. What have we got in the comments? Anybody got any questions? Questions. Yeah, well, sorry, and you're all just saying, Laurie's saying, I would rather work out than worry about eating 5 times a day. For me, that's the hard part. I could drink 5 protein shakes a day and be fine. Yeah, I'm the same. Food's an inconvenience for me. I just eat because otherwise I get low blood sugar. I love the less rest progressive overload way of working out. I feel I'm finally feeling at the end. Carrie, I was doing like workouts today in there, and so what happens in butt camp progressively as we're going along is we're starting to superset everything just to work even harder. So there's supersetting with no rest now, not in everything, but in a lot of things. So I was doing supersetting chest and back. So we did flat chest press, and then I went straight into up onto my knees, and I did like heavy single arm pulls. And then I went straight back down into chest presses, and then straight back up into single arm pulls or one arm dumbbell rows, and then straight down into chest and then straight into the rows. And I was like, my biceps and triceps were giving out. It was like 6 continuous minutes with a rest at the end. Then we went straight into pullovers and into close grip bench. And last week, what I was doing when I was supersetting these exercises was I was supersetting them, but then giving a minute's rest afterward. Now we're going superset. Well, actually, I did do a minute's rest after those because it was like, I couldn't do 6 continuous minutes of these. But see, by the end of it, I could barely push the dumbbells up into the sky. Like my biceps were actually trembling. I was thinking, I am in so much failure here. I am going to drop these dumbbells and knock my tooth out. But I didn't, which was really good. So it's just they're getting progressively tougher as we go along. And it's insane. Like in the beginning, whenever I did these, I know I keep saying it, but I'm still shocked every day by how much these work, by how effective these workouts are. I was the gym rat who was in there beasting it, lifting the bow weights, talking about, you can't build muscle with light dumbbells. Well, Kim was designed to eat humble pie. I think the universe was like, okay, Kim, let me show you actually what is possible. So it's giving me a little giving me a little kick up the ass. And Carrie's also saying today was brutal with Amy in butt camp. Week 3, day 2. My legs are still trembling. So Amy's coming in to record. Amy's my niece, and she, which you guys know, a lot of you in the app will have seen her because she's done workouts in the app, but she's coming in now to record twice a week. She's coming in next week to record, unless I'm away on vacation. She's coming in, no, this week. She's coming in to record three times this week. So we're able to get through 10 workouts a week now. She does 6 and I do 4. Actually, I do a few more than 4, but we can get through a minimum of 10. So she does 2 back to back. So can you imagine? She went that workout you did today, she went straight into another workout after that with 5 minutes rest, and just went straight into doing another workout straight afterwards. And that's what she's been doing twice a week. But now we're going to be doing, now we can get through them much faster. So I think by the end of this week, we're going to be finished I think we're going to be halfway through week 7 at the end of this week, actually. And then we should finish week 8. We might even train in the week. I'm not sure. But anyway, we should have, by the end of next week, we should have the entire butt camp recorded, which means I'm going to go straight into arms, abs, and glutes. I was going to call that program something I was going to call it something like, I was going to come up with a name, and I might still come up with a whole kind of name and concept, but I kind of like arms, abs, and glutes. It just tells you what it does. Like here there was an ad here years ago for a sealant for a wood sealant, and it was called Ronseal wood paint, right? And the ad was Ronseal. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And now everyone says here, that's one of the things they would quip in the UK. You would say, it does exactly what it says on the tin. And that's what I like about arms, abs, and glutes. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So arms, abs, and glutes, just as an FYI, for those of you who are in the app and you're listening here, is going to be the next challenge that we're launching inside butt camp. Inside the app. So we're going to be doing another 4-week challenge the middle of November. Probably it will start, I'll give you a date and tell you when. We haven't announced it yet, but we're pulling everything together for it now. So it will probably start at the 17th of November and run 17, 24 first. Yeah, and finish on the 14th of December. So this one's going to take you through to just before the holidays. It's going to be a shred. It's going to be a competition. And it's going to be a 4-week competition focusing on arms, abs, and glutes. And it's going to be absolutely and utterly awesome. And I'm so excited to teach it. I love finishing up one training and kind of getting into the next one. Now, we are going to also put butt camp on the app as well. I'm not sure whether we're going to do it immediately after this, but it will be going on there because it takes a while to get everything organized and all the folders done in the app. But we are going to start a new competition inside the app, which you guys will all have access to, of course, for free as part of your membership. And it's going to be arms, abs, and glutes. It's going to be a shred. There's going to be a $10,000 prize, possibly more, actually. I'm also going to run it outside the app for the first time. So I'm going to try and figure out a way that we can do it inside the app and outside the app. The reason why we haven't been able to run challenges outside the app, inside and outside the app now, is because of how the meal plans are done. So in the app, what we do is we obviously create the meal plans from the recipes that are already in the app, or we upload new ones. So all you have to do is download them and it automatically preloads them. But there were a few issues with that last time, and the app's really bugging me. There's so many glitches in it at the minute that we're trying to iron out and get fixed. But I think for this next challenge, what we're going to do to make it more simple is we're going to create downloadable meal plans. So I think we figured out a way that we can upload PDFs to the app now, or that we built in a little bit where we can upload PDFs. So instead of it being inside the app, we're going to do it as downloadable PDFs. That's really the only way that we can run a challenge inside and outside the app. Now, why is it beneficial to do both? Because if we also run a challenge outside the app, we can have higher prize money. Because inside the app, obviously, the prize money has to come from the app subscriptions, which, you know, and if I didn't make any money outside of the app, to be honest, I would have no money left after paying prize money. So if we ran it outside the app, we can actually offer higher cash prizes as well, which is really good. So we're ironing out all the details at the minute. It's probably going to be downloadable PDF meal plans inside the app. The reason why we can't upload the individual meals to the recipe section and have those all downloaded is because I just don't have the team. I wouldn't have the bandwidth to do that between now and then and get all the meal plans and all the recipes uploaded. But if I can, I will, but I just don't think I would have the bandwidth. But I think that everybody likes the downloadable meal plans as well, because it means you can download and keep them, you know, and have them kind of printed out or whatever in your phone. So, and the way that we've done the meal plans for Buck Camp, people are just absolutely loving them. They're saying they're the best meal plans that we've ever created. And in Buck Camp, for those of you who aren't in it, we have like a little table at the start of every single meal plan, which has every single ingredient with the calories and the macros for every single ingredient. So you can switch out so easily. So there's none of this, you know, oh, I can't eat this, or can I have this instead? You know, you can easily just switch out because you can see what the calories and macros are. And that has been a game changer, because in the past, it's always been, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that. And how do I switch this out? And how do I switch that out? And without knowing the calories and macros, it was very hard to do. So I think this way I'll make it much easier. And I apologize if you guys don't like that and it won't make it easier, but I think that's the way. I think that's the way we're going to do it. So look out for that new one. Okay, Maiken has a question. She says, Kim, I remember that you had some injections for tendon pain. Curious how long after you were good to continue to working out. I will be hopefully getting some injections in my knees on Friday. So Maiken, I had a cortisone shot in my hip for gluteal tendinopathy, and it made absolutely no difference whatsoever. I hate to tell you, zero, none. Like, I had no difference at all. So, but then I started on the GLPs and all my pain went away. Astonishing how that works, but it does. My husband has had cortisone shots in his knees quite a lot. He actually now just has like bone rubbing on bone in his knee, because he was a professional rugby player for many years, and he's just does not have the knees that he used to. Doesn't have the knees of a young man. So he has had cortisone shots in his knee before, and I do think that they have really helped him. So I think that they are useful, but I don't know. Corey? I didn't know you were here. I'm like, there's somebody in the office. And I was saying, this is my son, Corey's in the next office. That was like, so I was like, who is here? Were you working in there the whole time? Yeah. Oh my, lucky I wasn't talking about him. I didn't even, I see you later. I didn't even know that he was here. Sorry, I digress. So Ryan, my husband, has had cortisone shots in his knee before, and they've really worked for him. Didn't work for me at all. Like, and I think that a lot of the cortisone shots, I think they have to go in the exact place where the pain is and the inflammation is in order for them to work. Otherwise, they don't work. And because of my gluteal tendinopathy, we weren't really able to identify exactly where the pain was coming from, because it's just like a constant dull ache and shooting pain. So I think that was probably the issue too. But I think in the knee, especially if they scan it, hopefully they'll scan it and they'll be able to tell exactly where the tear is. They did do an ultrasound on my hip, but he was kind of a bit like, you know, I'm not sure if it's here or not or whatever. So you know what? You can't do any harm is what I would say. But definitely consider the GLPs if you haven't already, because they're a game changer. Let me tell you, I have no pain in my entire body, and I sleep like a baby, and I feel amazing, and I have loads of energy, and no brain fog. Absolute game changer. Okay, let me see. A few more questions. What have we got going on? Oh, Laurie is saying she's had them in her knees and the pain goes away for about 1 day. Laurie, that's not very encouraging. Maiken, don't listen to Laurie. It's just long time, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Sandra is asking, can you give a quick breakdown of how many days the new how many days a week the new November challenge will be. Also, do you know the breakdown of which body part will be worked on what days? Thank you so much. Sandra, I cannot tell you this information because I have not worked out the program yet. So it's all just in my head at the minute. Now, I can give you a hypothesis of what I think it will be. It'll be 5 days. Always 5 days. Why 5 days? Because it's a shred challenge. And if it's a shred challenge and you're doing a challenge and you're competing to transform your body and win money, then it's gonna have to be 5 days of strength training and 6 days of cardio. So that's the most effective way to lose body fat. 5 days of strength training, 6 days of cardio. So there will be 6 cardio workouts. There will be 5 strength training workouts. The 6th day of cardio, it's kind of going to be very much like the butt camp is now. The 6th day will be a strength cardio combo. And everybody loves day 6 of butt camp because, it's such a fun day. Like, it really is amazing. So that's the way it's kind of going to be. I would imagine, if I had to hypothesize now in my head, you have to work glutes 3 times a week in order to make them work. So definitely it's going to be glutes 3 times a week. But here, do you know what I think I might do? And this is just, and again, it's just me thinking out loud here because you asked me on the spot. I probably would work every muscle group every day. I think, not every muscle group, sorry. I think I would do full body. I think I would do upper body, abs, lower body and glutes every day, but I would make, say, Monday very much a glute focused day. Tuesday would have more quads and glutes. Wednesday would have more hamstrings and glutes. Thursday, potentially, again, a full glute day. Friday, a combo. I'm not sure how I would work it out, but you want to make sure that you're working, probably quads and glutes again, actually. So I think I would do glutes every day, upper body every day, and then throw in some abs every day too. A full body workout whenever it's done correctly, is a really effective way to build a lot of muscle, burn a lot of fat, which really is what's going to give you amazing abs and amazing arms. So burning the most amount of fat possible is what is going to give you amazing arms and amazing abs. So what I think I would do is make the workouts very cardiovascularly heavy, which sounds awful, but it's kind of necessary to build a lot of muscle. Do you remember back to the Sculpt challenge? Do you remember like how awful the Sculpt challenge was compared to what I'm doing now? Well, the Sculpt challenge was like I think the rest periods were like 30 seconds. It was like I was panting and sweating doing it. That's how I lost all the body fat. People say, oh, she's been on Ozempic and that's why she's so skinny. I'm like, no, I'm skinny because I did 30 days or 28 days of Sculpt. 30 of those workouts every day, plus the cardio workouts every day. That's why I got so skinny. So I think I would probably do arms, abs, and glutes the same, and focus on burning maximum fat while still building muscle at the same time. So I'll either do glutes 3 times a week with some arms thrown in each day, and abs maybe, each day as well, or I'll just do a full body workout each day. I haven't decided yet, but I'll get deep into the research, figure out the best way, look at the programming, what exercises I can do, how I can build strength over time. It's only 4 weeks. So you want to go as hard as you possibly can, especially to finish up the year strong. But whatever I do, I promise you it's going to be absolutely awesome. So sorry, I can't give you any more data than that. Sandra's saying, I love the 5 days of strength training. Also, I've been doing home workouts for half my life. Yay! I'm 57 and your workouts are the best I've ever done. Sandra, you know how to make a girl feel good. I love that. Excellent. Laurie's saying you'll soon be a hamster in that wheel. Oh my God, I know I will. Anne, my business partner, my new business partner, was like, we need to find you someone to come and do workouts with you because we need you alive and not broken. I said, I know. I need to find someone, but I don't. Amy, I really love it. Like, I trust Amy, my niece. She's amazing, but she's moving soon, like 30 minutes away. And I don't know that she's going to be able to come in and record 3 times a week. She is awesome. So, but I think I need like 2 or 3 people. And I thought if I had 2 people to come in and do workouts, I could get through a shit ton of workouts in a week, as long as I was teaching them and they were just like my demo. So I think that's where I'm going next. But trying to find these people that I trust is very difficult, but I'm sure I'll get there. Right, team. That's it for today. Thank you so much for showing up. Thanks for your questions. All the ones that I couldn't see here. I know that you're here energetically with me, listening. Loved having you all here. Love doing this much calmer, much calmer Q&A than the Butt Camp one where there's like 130 people on and it's absolutely insane. Fabulous though. I'm not complaining. I'm loving the energy in the company at the minute. It's just phenomenal. So, and there's Tanya turning on her camera to say hi and bye. But thank you so much for being here, guys. Really appreciate all of you. Thanks to the coaches for being here too. Nice to see you, Dre and Rona, and anyone else who was here that I have missed. I apologize. See you all next week. It was nice to see Carrie with her camera on because normally I just see her in her photo with her pink glasses. I don't actually see her with the camera on, so that was nice too. And oh, I can never pronounce your name, but I'm going to give it a go. Sheliswa? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to let you say it. I'm asking you, tell me exactly how to say it because I hate not saying them right.
Oh, Shalaswa. You said it right.
Shalaswa.
Hmm?
Go me. I love that. Excellent. Okay, Shalaswa. I'll have to remember that. Right, thank you so much. That's fantastic. See you all next week. Love you all so much. Okay, thanks for your questions. Bye, guys. There's Sandra too and Lynette. Okay, good to see you all. Okay, bye, team.